Ladies and Germans, how you all doing? This is Con Ulrich.
I'm Angru, hello.
And folks, we're giving you something a little bit different today. We're actually taking a look over here at the ongoing Red Storm 44 League that's going on here. That's right, Mr. Crisp's hard work has paid off. It is now back in the base game as a mod. In fact, honestly, we're just kind of celebrating over here with the first just one replay this week to kind of whet your guys' appetite, bring you right back into the whole idea of Red Storm 44, what that is. We are on Zubczyn today, but Rang, talk to me about the players and why this particular league is a little bit different for you. What's going on?
On the left-hand side in the blue, we have AS playing 6th Luftwaffe Field Division, and on the right-hand side in the red, we have Nigo BR playing as 3rd VDD. So two airborne divisions, one's more grounded than the other, of course, so arguably the 3rd VDD is also pretty grounded air-style division. But yeah, nonetheless, this is a Red Storm tournament being hosted in ST League. It's great to see more Red Storm gameplay, especially after that period of time where Red Storm literally didn't work for a month. But yeah, I'm also playing in this tournament as well, so I have a little bit more personal connection to it this time around in our cast.
So this is one of those things for us that, again, I'm going to point at least on my screen over here. Like I said, the 3rd VDD, we have the Gardos Descent Niki over here, which is absolutely freaking fantastic, as you have the airborne material kind of coming on through. A lot of the Guard VDD stuff over here is also ambush specialists. Now,
yes.
This thing right here was a little bit more recent kind of addition to it overall. 25 stealth bonus, and -8 received accuracy. I mean, and geez, and they don't gain any more suppression. So it's like commando on steroids.
Yeah, 3rd VDD has some of the best Russian infantry for the Red Storm mod. It's really bloody good. They're one of my favorite divisions to play personally in Red Storm. But yeah, seeing how the actual match is developing, it's nothing really too crazy. AS is played in a very defensive manner. Same with Nigo BR, really, just in the central town. I feel like we're going to see something happen up north here. Some of these Society troops are moving through the forest, probably run into some Jaeger Flame Pioneers, which will probably be bad for their health.
It's going to be bad for, I think, for the Flame Pioneers as well, though. So those Descent Nikis, they are still rocking PP Shahs as well as 2 DPs. So they're giving up something in terms of raw firepower, emphasis on fire, but don't count them out just yet. They're still pretty scary.
Yeah, indeed, with the 3-star veteranry and of course all the fancy trait bonuses. But yeah, pretty poor and steady here for AS. I mean, it's not to be too surprising. 6th Luftwaffe is a slow division. You're really just focusing on using anti-tank guns to back you up and using your mediocre infantry to make mediocre gains.
Yeah, guys, remember at this point the 6th Luftwaffe is the Luftwaffe, but there's not a whole lot of Luft going on. It's more just like Waffe. No. But T-3476 gets pinged by a long-range shot by that 50 mil Pack 38 to the absolute north. And I'm looking in here now. I guess with raw air power, who has the benefit of that? We are seeing an ME-410 being brought in on basically some DP guards in the town. This could be an early push to try to take this crossroads.
Yeah, there we go. That's a good kill. That's gonna open up the front line and allow AS to, yeah, secure that section of the town.
But I guess, okay, so, I mean, we're looking at the vehicles back and forth. It's probably fairly safe to say that as vehicles go, I mean, the VDD over here is not going to go and be getting a lot of armored support in the first place until C. Does that mean the 6th Luftwaffe has a better tank tab?
Yeah, I'd give it a little bit. Natural one's pretty nice, all the heavy anti-tank guns. Yo, VDD, you do get all the ISUs, which does help out quite a lot once you get into B phase, which is quite nice, but yeah, I mean,
Luftwaffe you raw cheater. I was talking literally just about the actual armor tab itself.
Oh.
So Stugs galore versus basically T-34s and C, and that's it.
Well, T-34s are pretty good and just like cheap fire support in forests and towns, which is really what they're good for. They get a little bit better in the aggressive play compared to the Stugs, of course. We're also seeing more bomb and runs. 410 going to be trying to nuke a T-34. Doesn't get the kill though, because I believe it's only 50 kilogram bombs.
Yep. Yep.
Yeah. But yeah, like very,
please.
like slow and steady opener. I think we're just gonna see a little bit of action here up north here, as these infantry will eventually run into each other. That's a lot of pioneers.
There's also a lot of star power over here on the Russian side.
Yeah. I think he's gonna need more star power when you're having to fight against explosive charges, really.
Except... yeah, I always have to kind of wrap my head around the fact that a lot of this infantry, indeed, even a lot of just both sides, and I've been thinking about it, have extra material outside of the 4 weapon slots that we see. Like, case in point, we do see that these Veteran Desantniki Guard troops have DPs and Faust patrons in there as well. So,
yeah,
terrifying squads when all is said and done.
Yeah, they're pretty damn good, yeah, for sure. But, yeah, I'm just looking to see, we're seeing a pretty big reinforcement coming in from AS, a bunch of Luftwaffe Jägers. I think he has a pretty good chance of actually taking his town. He has a whole lot of infantry in here where he can make a push happen.
He certainly has the potential. I don't know that we're going to see it necessarily work off here, and that media engagement in the force is finally going to happen, I think, between the Desantnikis, yep, and the Pioneers, and... wow. I did not think that the MP-28s were going to get that much firepower, but jeez.
Yeah, I think it's really also just down to the explosive packs as well.
Oh,
helping
definitely.
out quite a bit. I mean, it doesn't matter how veteran you are, big explosions will make you go kaboom.
This certainly seems to be the case. Down to the south, a little more of a détente happening there. So you're seeing that this 4-truck column being brought on in. Interesting placement for it. I kind of feel like I would like to move them a little bit further to the north. I feel like moving along that roadside where that little water is, that Flammable River troop that's moving towards the SG-43, I feel like that might be a better attack axis. What do you say about that?
Yeah, I definitely try to secure the town up north and then hook down south to try and secure it rather than just going through the front, whereas we see all the Desantnikis are set up to DP you to death if you try to get close.
Yeah, I'm a little concerned about that myself, especially with Maxim covering the road. Not spectacularly covering the road, but covering the road well enough, let's just put it that way.
Yeah. And machine guns, of course, in this mod are also really bloody deadly, especially when they're Desant Maxim.
They certainly are. Pac-38 is going to get a beautiful side shot into this T-34. Track's broken, so yeah, we're going to see a dead T-34-76 to the north. And there's not a whole lot of them in that first phase here. Of course, the Pac doesn't get a lot of that piercing outside the APCR shells. So, that would be the trade-off there.
Yeah, AS does seem a pretty good force here to actually make a decent push up north to maybe try and capture that one flag in the forest. As we can see, of course, with our gold vision, so he has a lot more infantry out, but I think he's just playing it a little bit more defensively, of course, very stylistic for Luftwaffe. And he's bringing an off-map into the central town, so I think he's just gonna... I hope he smoke off maps it, and then tries to push on through. That could be pretty damn cool push.
It would be cool, but I feel like the high explosive is the better call here. It'll preserve your troops a little bit more. Yep, here we go. That's the Sturm und Drang, as they would say. And it looks like the Sturmhabitze over here, the Sturmhabitze 42, will help pick up this 14th flag that's kind of waffling back and forth just a smidge here. Just there we go.
There we go.
And yep, these Luftwaffe Jaegers are just waiting for those first shells to fall. Then I imagine we'll be seeing an attack move being ordered to those 5 squads there.
Yeah, and that should be enough to hopefully suppress down everybody in that town to allow Luftwaffe Jaegers through. It's a shame that he doesn't have any more dedicated CGT troops here, such as some pioneers, as that definitely help out a bit more in the town fight, but I guess you just gotta make do with what you got.
You know, is there any wisdom to not using all of your Luftwaffe Flammenwerfers earlier on and keeping a couple for a push like this? If nothing else, you can use them as body shields.
Yeah.
Okay.
I definitely would have helped out a little bit, just having 1 or 2 less pioneers up north into the southern push right now. Heck, even just a little bit of armor to give some fire support, because These Luftwaffe Jaegers really do rely on... I mean, they're not terribly equipped, but it's always better to have some high explosive fire support backing you up, whether it's armoured or not, when you try to push it. He still has also a bunch of infantry just north of them, which could also try and push around and counter-attack, but I just feel like he's playing rather defensive.
This seems to be the case. I'm sorry, I'm watching as this first shot comes in from basically the Stu 42, aiming at the 36 mil and the 45 mil, unbeknownst to the Stu 42. And yep, actually we have a couple of stovepipes being brought on in, a little bit belated. I would have thought that would have come in first, both to give the smoke that you were talking about before, or to give for supporting firepower. I don't know, just an interesting order of operations in that one.
Yeah, I think he just wanted the initial shock of the off-map, and honestly, it's working. He's forced all of units to actually fall back from the town, and now he has a pretty clear shot and actually getting his infantry in there. He's moving in the Stug for fire support. So he's not doing too bad, but once he starts having to actually engage his infantry mano to mano is when the Luftwaffe Jaegers start to fall apart a bit.
Well, and that's going to happen pretty quickly here. So we have a T-34-76 of the Zubczyn that will go and start pounding these poor guys that are out in the open. And you can see right there, about 40% of the attack is falling back for the cost of what? Maybe a couple of troops over here on the Russian side of things? No, no big deal there.
Yeah, it's not that bad at all. You can definitely survive that. No, what's he doing with the Stug? He needs to definitely pull back, yeah. With all the infantry pulling back too. He's just asking to get Faust Patron.
He is, but he is benefiting from the fact that the Faust Patron still needs to get within, what is it? It's 200 meters for that, is it not?
It's like
150.
100? No, it's just like 100 or so, Khan.
Oh, no, you're right. Yeah, I'm sorry. Forgive me. The Faust Patron over here is, one step down.
Yeah.
I keep thinking it's the clone through, but I always forget that with this mod, they play with the ranges a little bit more historically, so well done there.
Indeed, they do. But the Stug is not doing too bad, being the center of attention, yeah. Nothing has come to blow him up quite yet. And this is, like, to be fair with Luftwaffe, they don't do that well in CQC, all things considering. They're very good long-range division, just due to your anti-tank tab, just having so many PaK-43 style guns, which allows you to just blow up any tank that you want. Here you go, Stug is gonna move in. I thought he was gonna get shot by a T-34, yeah, but he's in a pretty good spot, the Stug that is, to provide some nice fire support. Oh, airplane.
It's
message to me.
Yikes. Oh, wow. I did not expect him to drop. I thought he was going to make a bit more of a run there, but, okay.
I think the, being pinned by all the anti-aircraft fire really screwed of his accuracy.
I think that's probably a reasonable decision all the same. I'm trying to see... No, he's definitely going to donate that. He's going to donate the stroke. He does want to get the Vesvedka online, and he might be able to get one shot off, maybe two.
Still really risky, oh.
Jeez.
Yeah. That wasn't a good call.
Yeah, I have to agree with you on that one.
Yeah, and look, Nigo's on like 915 right now. He's doing pretty damn good. Whereas he's getting his flag. I don't know. I think it's really just central position. Oh no, he got that one rather Luftwaffe multi-Jaeger was, but here we go, more planes, more bombs, and more kaboom.
Yep.
Oh!
But for 410s, geez, that Yak 9T has been brilliant already.
Yeah, Yak 9Ts in this mod are like
terrifying.
One of the best fighters you can get for the Soviets, especially if you have 2-star veterancy. But he does lose it, but 2 for 1, not too bad.
And I think BF 109 actually might even go down. Remember, anti-air in this is ridiculous.
Yeah. But he's gonna get a raid just in nick of time, it seems.
Spark? No.
No.
Yikes.
The anti-air has a vengeance today, Khan.
It certainly seems to. If you want to be any kind of Luftwaffe plane, it's not going to go well.
Yeah.
No, there's a Nashorn to the south. There's a Nashorn over here to the north. These guys, I think the bark is much scarier than the bite has the potential to be. Their hide certainly isn't really that good in terms of deflecting anything whatsoever. What kind of usage can we kind of really be expecting to see against the third?
The national ones are kind of hard to use in this map, just due to how close quarters and how many line of sight blockers there are. There's only really a few lanes where you can really take advantage of that 2-kilometer range, which you do have over your opponents. But I think they're definitely going to be more useful later on when those ISUs eventually start coming out, and those SU-85s as well, because they can very easily kill them.
That certainly would seem to be the case. I know one thing we haven't talked a ton about was the idea of the income. Now, folks, remember, go over here. Income from Redstorm 44 is markedly different than what we see in vanilla. But AS, he's lost quite a bit of his eco here as we are starting to transition into Phase B.
Yeah.
So I guess the question is he able to hold on long enough? Or is it going to be one of those things where he's, you know, kind of SOL?
Oh yeah, I guess, even though, like... what's it called? Nigo... I feel like he has good map presence. AS has been having the flag advantage this entire time. And he still has another, like, 15 minutes or so of that income, B-phase income that is. So he's not doing too bad, all things considering. He could definitely make his work.
Of course, when he gives away a National for practically nothing, that is going to cause a bit of a problem. Northern National did just go down. He's bringing in a second one as we speak. And I'm trying to see... I think it's the ISU-152. So the ISU... What that Rhino was brought in here to kill, I think killed him first.
Yeah.
He claimed a second
the
victim.
ISU
Good lord.
does not forgive, and it does not forget.
So would you say that I guess the ISU is the elephant of the Soviet war machine?
In a way.
I mean, look at the size of that trunk, man. There's a lot going on in that trunk.
In elephants and rhinos, it's very dangerous over here in Eastern Europe.
It absolutely is. Luftwaffe Jaeger's making another attempt over here into that town, and it goes about as well as you expect. I always forget that the Luftwaffe Jaegers as well, when they die, for some reason, they actually flashed a disheartened on that one. So
yeah, it's just a weird mod bug when units die. I think technically in the code they're like pretending to be another unit. It's just some weird bug. But at least it's not a game breaking run, it's a little visual run. Oh, another Messerschmitt goes down, or BF-109 I should really say.
Well, down to the south, he took out another Yak-9T, so I'm just going to take a quick look at the decks again to see how many of those are left. So there's one more left of the 9T.
Yep.
But at the same time, ME-109s, or heck, even the Messerschmitt, or just in general, not particularly numerous either.
No. Not really, and neither side having a whole lot of fights. Well, we do have... I guess, yeah, not that many medals, really. I was trying to justify it, but it's really just a lot more fighter bombers from both sides.
That would have been very, very optimistic of you to be able to justify that. I think what we are seeing is IL-2, the Sturmgewehr down to the south, is desperate to find some way to see that National to the south. I'm not, too enthusiastically hopeful for him.
Yeah, that National one's in a pretty nice and sneaky position, which is definitely good for his survivability in that current state.
Stu-42 almost just blasters the Su-85 with just almost a blind shot. With the 105 HE, I always forget about how devastating those things potentially can be.
Yep, and also considering that a lot of regular artillery guns are no longer on the map, they're mostly relegated to off-map. The Stu-42 is one of the more powerful high-explosive artillery guns you can still have.
That's good, because the Stugs are just not doing well even as the role of assault gun here.
Yeah. Like, this is, like, a tough map here, really, for Luftwaffe, just because of how close quarters it is and not having those turrets. I mean, it seems like a small thing, and it can be in certain situations, really. It's not that big of a deal. But here, it's really helping out those T-34s get those first shots off.
It's going to get a little bit terrifying for these Superi in this western, almost not quite pocket just yet, but the southwest, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, one shot would definitely make you reconsider your life options.
National also starting to engage ISU-152, falling back, transmission destroyed. So the one national to the north might be able to accomplish his primary programming here. No.
Messerschmitt up north trying to go in for the bomb and run, but doesn't even get the shots off.
I honestly wasn't even paying attention to that. I keep waiting for this national to actually do his job and kill one of the ISU 152s. There we go, long last.
Yeah. Finally does go down here, and Nigo can try and flip that flag for a 14-10. He's so close, he just needs like really one infantry unit just for the frontline advantage. But Luftwaffe Motorjäger is not given any frontline, of course, it's reconnaissance.
Well, it's not without the potential changes to recon, so this is something we wanted to kind of talk about. What can recon now potentially do in this
the recon commanders. So certain divisions have recon commanders available to them, which are like infantry commanders, but super cheap. Essentially, if you have a recon unit behind enemy lines, and you have a recon commander nearby, you can actually activate an ability so that recon commander will give your recon unit actual frontline projection for 3 minutes. Meaning that the entire gimmick is that you get your recon units behind enemy lines on enemy flags, and then you project frontline for just a few minutes to capture some flags for a short period of time. There's a cooldown, of course, on their ability and whatnot, but it's pretty cool seeing just some more unique gameplay styles in this mod compared to vanilla, because that's something that you just wouldn't even think to see in the base game. It's just very out there.
Certainly is a good way to put it. I do want to note that despite not being a CQC division, and I don't know if it's just because of the way that the Soviets are massing their troops, but we are seeing the Luftwaffe being very, very successful.
Yeah, he's making the most out of his pioneers with the explosives in the forest, that's for sure. As Nigo keeps just kind of throwing in his units piecemeal, one by one. And in forest fights, really it just comes down to satchel charges and flamethrowers. They are, like, heavy forest fights are really the MVPs, while more of the Desantniki troops are more heavily geared towards lots of SMGs, which do a little bit better in light forest and town fight.
Ooh, an off-map goes down after dropping just a single barrage on the German side of, let's call it the south-central side here, right by that T-3476, the Razvedka. This guy's been good at area denial, but I don't think I would be playing this aggressively with him. I'm actually surprised we actually haven't seen any of these guard automachikis being shifted on in, or taking a more aggressive stance other than this Su-85 down to the south, taking out the Stoke 3.
Yeah, the Su-85 is going to have a pretty bad time in a minute here, it seems. The infantry are sneaking up.
Oh my gosh, I didn't realize there were bronies in this now.
Yeah. Oh, if anyone wants to understand what that means, Brony Broshiki, apparently it was for guys who would defend anti-tank guns. They're like infantry assigned to anti-tank guns for defense purposes.
That is a really, really kind of... Oh, okay, so it's like not a blocking detachment for the anti-tank guns, but like...
no, and
like an active,
just like
an active attachment.
Flanks.
Okay.
Yeah, like defend the flanks and make sure they don't get attacked by infantry and other light vehicles, for example. That's what I know. But it's not looking... I mean, it's looking good for AS in terms of course, he's getting the victory, which at the end of the day is the only thing that matters. But he has been losing a lot of national ones. I've seen a second national go down to an IL-2 37mm. So he only has so many of them in his deck. And of course, we are going to be reaching sea phase shortly, which will give Nigo the time to maybe make something happen, especially if that big income difference you have.
Forgive me for cutting you off here, but those guard automachikis all donated to a single pioneer squad to the south. That was a curious decision.
Yeah. You don't have to be all that motivated to throw satchel charge, man.
Well, it's just... Even, I guess, it's more strangely, at least in my mind, the PP Shahs didn't really kind of get themselves really chattering away until they were pretty much completely pinned, so...
Yeah. Yeah. It feels like Nigo hasn't been able to get good use of his Desantniki infantry in these engagements, and also just the fact that the AS is doing pretty good with actually utilising fire support. I mean, he's got the off-maps being brought in, the Stugs and the Stews, blowing everything to hell and back. He's actually using the Stu sniper mortar piece here. Like, long range shot, but it definitely paid off.
It certainly is, I'll tell you that much. Next barrage coming in on SG-43s, a couple of Descent Maxims and Descent Nigo Guard over here in that town. Probably going to see a resurgent push here. That's from just a 75mm positions. And geez, with the Luftwaffe Schwer MG-34, yeah, that's not going to be too plus. It's a neighborhood to live in.
Yeah. Now that off map is just going to force Descent to fall back once again and allow AS to slowly but surely get back into our town with a bunch of Luftwaffe Jägers.
Brony's in the meantime going to go, kills the Stu-42 crew.
Yeah, there we go. That's a pretty damn good kill for just a bloody anti-tank rifle.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm actually quite... Wow.
I think he's technically getting side shot, so yeah, try.
That's always one of the questions you want to know, I will say that much. IL-2, does he know where that... He doesn't know where the Nashorn is still. The BF-109 plus the 2cm Flak 38 here. Come on. The IL-2's got to go down from this one. He's got to, right? There we go.
Really get out. That's the big question.
He's not smoking yet. The radiator's overheating, but he's not smoking yet. I think if he gets away from this barrage, he should be fine. There we go. He's smoking,
yeah,
but he's out. Of course, I say that and watch him die right here. Okay, phew, all right.
We're right for a change.
It's a weird feeling. I was like, oh no, right at the end, here it comes.
Yeah.
We are going to have Luftwaffe Jägers trying... Yep, here's the push over here onto that town. Actually, we've seen 2 MG-34s being brought to the northern town. I'm wondering if that's so that way he can free up these 4 squads of infantry to move east?
That would be a good call. Definitely trying, because he can definitely try and hook around that northern end of the town. He's been neglecting that quite a bit. But here we go, IL-2 coming in, completely knocks out one of Luftwaffe Jägers. Yeah, slow and steady push into the central position of the town is... Well, it's going a little bit too slow it seems, as Nigo's being able to re-bring his forces up to try and guard. He's even bringing up quite a lot of armor and off-map.
But it doesn't matter, it's 15-9 now, so that flag to the northern part of that central town,
yeah,
that is now very comfortably over here into the Luftwaffe hands. And Maxim by Maxim gets taken away. And I'm trying to think about the Maxim. Take a look at the deck here for a second to figure out how many Maxims are really available still. 11 overall, so I mean, there's potential to be some, but I don't know that he's got a whole lot left. He's been losing a fair few.
Yeah, he definitely has been. I mean, you definitely want to be using a lot of them. I find in Soviet divisions in Red Storm having lots of Maxims is a pretty good idea, because they allow you to engage like MG-42, MG-34 infantry pretty effectively at long range compared to just DP troops.
Sorry, I was looking at the suppression changes between the SG-43 and the Maxim itself. Maxim, of course, and just a smidge less suppression overall.
But it's the rate of fire.
I'm sorry?
It's the rate of fire that's like the main thing between both.
And that's fair, but rather the fact that also I want to kind of make a quick point that AS is definitely lining himself up for a rather aggressive push, spending on the order probably an entire tick and then some of income to bring in 7, 8, 9, 8 squads of infantry. Got a 2cm flak and another Stug being brought in. By itself, not the most terrifying thing, but considering there's other forces already in the area, that could be more terrifying.
Yep. Oh, IL-2 comes in once again. Been really good. Snipes say stuck his time. He's been getting some pretty good armor kills, but it just hasn't really mattered. Just due to the horde of Luftwaffe infantry holding that ground. I think I've definitely been a little bit too harsh in saying they're not a great CQC division. They just... I mean, of course, the SMGs and the actual weaponry isn't great, but flamethrowers and charges are pretty good. And you get a decent amount of them, Luftwaffe.
Well, and I think part of the reason that we judge them so harshly is that there just are other divisions that do it better.
Yeah. Like, they don't have the coolest infantry, that's for sure. It's a hodgepodge, of course, because it's a Luftwaffe field division. But, hey, like I said before, you don't have to be all that spirited to throw a chat.
No, No, he's got to play softball or I guess horseshoes and hand grenades. I mean, the whole thing right there. We are going to see this mortar fire trying to stave off any kind of resurgent push in the central position. Yes, there's potential to see the Soviets take some of this territory, but I'm not sure I really like their chances really all of that much, especially as we have MG-34 supporting fire on it.
Yeah, the main thing is that AS also has a very good defensive line of all the area he's taken. Like up north, it's just a line of pioneers and explosives and tanks. In the center, it's like the same thing. He has all the machine guns set up, and down south, he has all the armor and the infantry, and just pretty good defense in depth, all things considering. And Nigo just hasn't been able to break through any of it.
Yep, we had our own private version of Enemy at the Gates here. So all these guys charge forwards, get almost to the lines, and then get pushed right back again. So, bit of a shame there that Nigo was never really able to get himself going. On paper, his infantry was definitely a match for them. I just think he didn't quite mass his troops maybe as effectively as necessary.
Yeah, it's just, he definitely could have played a little bit more heavy up north with better CQC troops and really tried to fight over. Yeah, I mean, once again, you don't really have many flamethrowers or charger charges in 3rd VDV, which definitely sucks. Maybe more in the town, he definitely could have done a little bit better, or down south.
I would certainly hope so. But,
yeah.
The last couple seconds here, congratulations over here to AS, taking the 6th Luftwaffe to new heights. We'll try to keep him grounded, even as his head goes up into the sky there. Very, very close on the KG. Very
only
close.
400 difference. Bad at all.
Standouts, though. Geez, that IL-2. 3 Nashhorns and a Stug. So that guy needs to be arrested for poaching.
I'm gonna send authorities on him after this match, don't worry.
Please do. Please do. The ASPCA needs to know about this. Ziegler on the other side here, you know, he's got more of a grab bag of kills, let's call it. Link also doing pretty well. Actually, wait, 1, 2, 3. He's got a 3-pack of armored vehicles, and he's got a 37 mil. So I think that was the Stug now down to the southern side. So they called in near the end. Unfortunately, those Nashhorns not quite as effective or even remotely efficient, I would call, in terms of pricing and investment.
Yeah, there's just not really much you can really do with them in that map. It's just kind of hard to use them effectively. I'm much better on, like, Slutsk, for example.
Indeed. Indeed. But any final thoughts here as this first Red Storm 44 League game comes to a close?
Expect more Red Storm over the next few weeks, because this will be our main coverage.
Yeah, I'm actually quite excited to come back to this, so I'm really, really looking forward to more unique play, more unique divisions, and heck, more of those unique little badges. I think, again, I love that part about Red Storm. I really, really love the plethora of material there, so I'm looking forward to this.
It's just like a small little thing of just seeing all those different unit traits, and makes everything seem more unique and, like, yeah, special, rather than just, you know, every unit has the exact same, every Soviet division has the exact same strokey swatch between them.
Yeah, that's very true, but nonetheless, folks, thank you so much as always for kind of joining with us. Until next time, I'm Con Ulrich.
I'm Rangaroo, take it easy.